What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of It's Nothing Personal, Just Buffalo. I am your host, JTM. Got my co-host in the building with me, James Mallory. Mal, big win for those Buffalo Bills this week. Much needed win for those Buffalo Bills this week, I'd say. Long week in Buffalo last week. Long bye week.
Talk back on.
All right.
Post.
My phone's going crazy here. Hold on. Let me get that out. Schedule right for a second.
Welcome to the updated talkback.
But,
Talkback has been updated.
Hold on.
Like you said, JT, it was a long week, man, and we was able to overcome it. That showed the true character of the team. You know what I mean? So everything, it was off the field things, a lot of adversity. But hey, what's a good season without some adversity, right? You got to go through adversity. So how did you feel about how the team handled everything from what you seen happen throughout the week to what you seen the product you seen on Sunday?
I thought that the team handled it like a Bill Belichick. Jesus, Bill Belichick. Sidney Martin got me tripping on my words here, talking about Bill Belichick already. We're gonna get to that too tonight a little bit. What's going on, Cindy? How are you? But no, I thought overall the Bills handled adversity like they've always handled adversity under Sean McDermott's watch. Listen, we can talk about leadership of the Buffalo Bills. We could talk about playoff wins. We could talk about how they play in tough moments. There's a lot of things that we could talk about. But one of the things that we can't talk about is this team folding from adversity. And folding from adversity always means that you're overcoming and you're always going to get the W's. You're always going to win. You're going to hoist Super Bowl trophies. But when this team has an issue, they don't back down from it. And I think that this game right here, going on the road, going against a tough opponent, I will say a familiar opponent, but a tough opponent, once again showed that this team has their head coach's back. And as we were talking about before, we were talking about if we wondered if he lost the locker room, and this game here would be the telling if that had happened. And I think it showed it did not. So, other than that, man, I thought they came out, they went on the road, they handled business, they know they're fighting for their playoff lives. It's funny that we talked about it. They're 7-6, just like they were a couple of years ago when they went on their run. I know you've been saying already they're going to string a run together of wins. You say you needed 4, I believe is what you said.
I was just looking at that number for me for this team was getting four wins, or the 4 straight wins. That was very important to me, to really get that momentum going and really get to that number we're going to need to get to that playoff spot. And then right now, D-Dot, see you. And then also now there's a chance to win the division, which
you're breaking up, James. I hear you.
I'm breaking up again?
Yeah. You go ahead now. You're good.
Yeah, so no, what I was saying was what I've been saying all the time is people just need to be patient, and that we can still get this playoff, the division. We still can win the division. Is realistic.
You know what? The reason it's realistic is not just because this team is capable of doing it, but it's more realistic because when you look at the Dolphins' remaining schedule, you got the Jets this week, which once again one of those games you always talk about, interdivisional game. Rivalry game technically ain't. It's not just a cakewalk. Very, very good defense over there. Then you have, I think it's either the Ravens after that, and then Dallas, and then Buffalo. That's a very tough end of the schedule run. They just lost their center, Connor Williams today. Went out with a torn ACL yesterday. Announced that today. Terran Armstead was not active. Their left tackle, Robert Hunt, their right guard, was not active. So the Dolphins are getting banged up at the wrong part of the season. As well, going through this gauntlet schedule, but we'll touch on that a little later. Let's get back to recapping this game. Obviously, the Buffalo Bills won Sunday, 20-17. moving to 7-6 on the season. Much needed win in Kansas City on the road. I wouldn't even we call that a road game anymore. That's just I think at this point KC is a neutral site for the Buffalo Bills, or damn near home game the way Bills Mafia travel. You know, I could ask somebody in Bills Mafia about where the best restaurants to eat in KC is, and I'd probably get hundreds of recommendations. So, sorry, you cut out there, James. But no, other than that, I think it was much needed. I thought that the team played well. Wasn't too happy with the second half offense. Started really sputtered there. Probably the first time I've seen it under Joe Brady since he took over for Ken Dorsey. We're going to talk about James Cook tonight, his emergence. How huge has he been lately? How huge is he going to be? I think we're reaping the benefits of being patient there. Stephon Diggs, we'll talk about the lack of involvement in him tonight. So overall, I thought that the defense came to play, but we'll start off the side of the ball. Josh Allen.
Yep.
We start with the man at the helm there. Obviously, Josh had I would say a solid game. Definitely more active in the first half of this football game.
Yep.
Made some key plays in the second half, going to 23 of 42, 233 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And he added 1 rushing touchdown, rushed for another 32 yards on 10 carries. One thing I will throw out there, this KC defense is a lot different than what it was the past couple of years. This is actually a very, very good and challenging Kansas City defense. Yes. So, go on. We start with 17. What you think of his performance yesterday?
So I love this performance. He took chances when needed, and then he played it conservative when it was that time, right? I think he played a very smart football game. We had an interception in there, but I mean, I did love the patience that he showed at times, where it kind of is what we call it, that boring offense, right? It looks boring sometimes. Exactly. Where you protect the football and you wait on the other team to make a mistake. The Patriots made a living off of that, right? And think about those Patriots and those Indianapolis Colts with Peyton Manning matchups, right? It was just a game of chess. Like, no, you make the mistake first. And it was kind of boring to have 2 great quarterbacks. It will be some boring football at times, and I think we're going to need to see that. And these 2 teams are 2 totally different teams than what we historically are used to seeing out of those the Bills and Chiefs, right? The Chiefs are the opposite of what they used to be. They used to have a very good offense, and the defense was terrible. The offense would carry the team. Right now, the offense isn't good. You have a stud at quarterback, obviously, but the defense is now the strength. And it carries the offense, right? If the defense was just mediocre, the Bills probably beat them by 3 touchdowns, literally. That defense saved them. And the Bills are a team that can really run the football now, really, really run the football. Before, Cook hurt him. He hurt him. That running back position really hurt him. So I think, I really, really like what I seen out of Josh. And going back to your question, I would like to see more of that and him to continue to use his legs when needed, because I think, 3rd and 5, you see Josh run for 8 yards. Those are backbreakers, and we're going to really need that moving forward.
I like that you said the words, use his legs as needed. I think there was a time under Brian Dable where we used his legs to push the offense forward. So with that, I think that as needed is correct. I thought yesterday they pick and chose their spots to use it. I think that even with the risk of injury, using his legs is something that this offense has to have. It keeps the defense honest. It's going to open other things up. Obviously, we saw with the Monsters run with Josh standing tall, but let's just be honest, the offensive line not being lazy at all and being proactive to push him in that end zone about 5 yards from outside of it was our own, as they say. I saw somebody put in the comments, our own tush push yesterday, if you want to call it that. That's something that needed to happen. That's something that definitely we need to see. I think KC, obviously playing the Bills 5 times in the last 2 years, they're more prepared than a lot of other teams will be when Josh goes to use his legs. So it's good to see him getting back into that mode again and getting Joe Brady utilizing them that way. I think also too, once again, Josh feels more comfortable when he can use his legs. It seems like it gets every aspect of his game going. So, like I said, not leaning off the thoughts of he needs to take that hit to get the juices flowing, because we don't want to see him take that hit. But just in general, it keeps him in motion.
Yep.
Other than that, once again, I thought the Chiefs did a hell of a job. Hats off to Jarius Steed over there in KC. Really, really took Stephon Diggs out of this football game.
Yeah.
Once again, we had another disappearing act for Gabe Davis. I'm going to tell you something. Gabe, if Gabe does not play football for the next 10 years, he has a job lined up in a second career in being a magician. Because I swear to God, it's now you see him, now you don't. Poof. Sim Salabim, where's Gabe Davis? I don't see him anymore. Wow.
JT, man, you're a fool. You are a fool.
No, I'm serious. I said it a couple weeks ago. I said it a couple weeks ago, bro. At the end of the day, when the broadcast is talking about how good your number 2 receiver is a run blocker, then at the end of the day, we got a problem. And I know his mom's out there posting on Twitter about him being wide open. I know Josh missed him, but hell, it's hard to find a guy that wide open when they're never open in the first place. Give your respect, already do respect, Mrs. Davis. I respect your opinion, but maybe if he showed up at different parts of the game, we'd be looking for him.
I am speechless. You are a fool, JT, magician.
I'm just saying, man. It's another game. It's another disappearing act for Gabe. Matter of fact, once again, this is another game with no catches. Another game with no catches and not one receiving yard.
How many games is that this year with no catches? 4?
I have to go check. I'm gonna go check that. When you start talking, when I switch over to you, I'm gonna switch. Go check it. But no, I don't know, man. Well, other than that, let's get back to Josh. I got off key there. I thought too it was nice seeing Dawson Knox back in here. You can definitely see him in the running game. We're using 12 personnel. I know the Bills really, really want to use 12 personnel. I would still like to see Khalil Shakir on the field a lot more. So, but when you're paying the guy $40 million, he gonna play. It's just the way it is. So, other than that, I thought Josh played well. Didn't really make too many costly mistakes. Made that one bad interception that kind of gave the Chiefs momentum. But outside of that, I had no gripes about his play yesterday. No gripes at all.
I think we may be on to something, JT. We may be on to something. I like what I seen. Keep running that ball too.
Yeah. You know what? And it's funny. The biggest thing about the run game is we had 18 carries from the running backs yesterday. So once again, I think it was another game of utilizing the running backs, keeping them involved. All 3 of them, Ty Johnson too. I know you're high on Ty Johnson.
Yes, he's been running well.
Yeah. Utilize them. I thought that in the third quarter, we kind of went away from it a little bit. We got back into it in the fourth, but the good thing is we came back to it. Yeah. Because in the past, we've seen this team just go away from it and not come back for 2 games. Yet alone a quarter.
Ty Johnson, man, that dude, he always, no matter if he get hit, he's always falling forward, man. I mean, I really, really like the way he's playing right now. I really do. He's a great complimentary back next year, next to Cook. Sign him. Am I back? I cut out?
Yeah, cut out.
All right, sorry about that. I don't know what's going on here. I apologize. But I think, just kind of looking ahead, I think that's somebody you look to bring back on a 1-year deal.
Who?
Ty Johnson.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Gabe Davis. I thought you was talking about Gabe Davis, man. Like I said, listen. I'm not even gonna go there. I'm gonna leave it alone. But yeah, other than that, I thought the offense played well. Dalton Kincaid got him more involved. You're seeing the evolution of him even more each
Hardy.
week.
Hardy had a huge play. Huge play.
That's about the 3rd time this season he's had a huge play at a trying time.
Yep.
For this offense. Actually, I want to look up that Gabe Davis stats, since you want to know how many times he's put a 0 up this season so far. A goose egg, we'll call it. Well, let's say Cincinnati, Jets, Kansas City.
So it's only 3. I thought it was 4. Well, a little bit better than what I thought.
Oh no, there's 2 other games here where he had 1 catch. So, and my man Mike Neal, I'm gonna take this question. I know we usually take questions at the end, but this fits right in. Do you guys think Josh has lost confidence in Davis? Continuous zeros in a limited route tree. We really need to think about promoting Shakir. All right. Do I think he's lost confidence? I don't think he's lost confidence. I just think the guy can't get open. I think Josh should throw it to anybody who can get open on the football field. But he just can't get open. As far as Shakir, I think Shakir should be playing more. I think that you should think about taking Gabe Davis out of some of these formations, putting Kilo Shakir in if you're going to run 12 personnel at this point in time. James?
I agree. Couldn't agree more. I would say he really lost. I don't know if he really lost confidence in him. I think it's the fact that Gabe Davis just don't get open, man. But yeah, I mean, Shakir should get some of those snaps, maybe, so.
I mean, the thing that, like, when you target him to get Gabe Davis like 5 catches in the game, you have to target him like 12 times. That's not a very good ratio.
Yeah.
So at this point, man, I think that it's to the point where we're just going to get through this season and do the best we can. And hopefully he catches fire at the end of the season somehow. And this team can make a playoff push, because that's going to bring me right to the next topic. We're going to go right into the next topic right now. And that topic is going to be Diggs' lack of involvement. What cause of what? Well, why is his lack of involvement happening? Obviously, yesterday he had, if I'm not mistaken, he had 4 catches for 24 yards.
You mean Sunday, JT?
Huh?
You said yesterday. I mean, you mean Sunday?
It's Sunday, yeah, Sunday, man. My days are sorry, man. Holidays, they just string together. But yeah, Sunday he had 4 catches for 24 yards, and it was a struggle. I mean, obviously, L'Jarius Sneed had a 91 overall PPF rating this week. Did a hell of a job. Like I said, already said hats off to that dude. Hell of a game. Really, really put Diggs in the blender. But we have to get down to the question of why, because if you look at these last couple of games, obviously versus the Eagles, he had 6 for 74, but against the Jets, 4 for 27, Denver 3 for 34, and now 4 for 24 for the Chiefs. So 3 out of the last 4 games, not over 50 yards receiving, not even over 40 yards receiving. So we have to ask that question of why, because I don't necessarily think it's Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs ain't learned how to run, has not forgotten how to run routes. What do you think that reason is for his lack of involvement lately? Is it the switch from Joe Brady from Dorsey? What do you think it is?
I think it's a situation where teams are just saying, we're going to take him away, have everybody else beat us. Mm-hmm. I think it's just a situation like that. Teams aren't just going to let you just let dudes just crush you, right? A situation where they're like, okay, we're going to double Stephon Diggs, right? And then we'll force Gabe Davis to have to make a play. You think about it. You can double Diggs and still have one-on-one with Gabe Davis and be fine. Mm-hmm. He don't need no extra attention the way he's playing. So it doesn't concern me, because if he looked bad, he don't look bad. It's just the fact that he's just not getting a lot of passes and whatnot. And did I cut out again? I don't know what is going on. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm figuring it out. Yeah, I'm not on. I'm on Wi-Fi, but anyway, we'll figure out a way to get him the ball this week, and I'll have a bold prediction at the end of the show, everybody. So stay tuned.
My guy Mike Nealon says, I feel that Davis never getting open is affecting Diggs being double and triple teamed. Our running backs and tight ends, you lead us in targets and receptions versus the Chiefs, and I think that's a good That's a good find there. I mean, actually, I think you're 100% right on that one, Mike. It's if Gabe Davis was a bigger threat, it would open Stephon Diggs up. He doesn't have anybody to open him up like he's opened other people up. And I think you're 100% correct when you see that Dawson Knox, Kincaid, the way Kincaid's been eating the last couple of weeks, and now James Cook is starting to eat in the passing game. It's a direct correlation to Diggs being double teamed and Gabe Davis being Houdini. But my man D Dot says that's how the Bills killed the Jets. They were doubling Diggs all game. The other guys on the outside have to make plays. And at that point, that's what brings back to the next question is, at what point do you start pulling Gabe Davis reps back and putting somebody else on the field like Khalil Shakir or Hardy on the field to see if we can get something going? Unless I know he has that C on his chest. I know he's good at blocking the run game. But at that point, we might well just spread Kincaid out to the boundary if we look for extra run blocking. If we're gonna go that route.
Yeah.
So I think that it's I think it's a mixture though. I think it's a mixture of Joe Brady taking over as coordinator. And I also think that it's, like I said, the biggest factor is Gabe Davis. I think we said it last week. That's your biggest factor, is that you don't have a threat on the other side that can win one-on-one coverage.
Yeah.
It should be the opposite way around. Like it should be the fact that you have Stephon Diggs on the football field, that your number two should be eating all day, every game.
Yep.
All day, every game.
You know what made my stomach turn before I passed out early last night.
Mm-hmm.
But every time I see D-Hop.
Yeah.
Every time I see him running around, man.
It hurts. It hurts a little bit.
I can't speak no more, JT. I can't.
Yeah. So I think overall that's the lack of involvement for me. It's the lack of having a consistent number two receiver. And I think there's just a little bit of a transition period between switching from Dorsey to Brady. And I think Brady and Diggs are going to get on the same page. Obviously, Diggs had a couple of drops yesterday, but he did find multiple ways to get him the football in his hands. So I think that as we go further in the season, we're going to open more up with that. So we'll see what happens. I'm not concerned about it, though. It's not a concern of mine at all. Moving on. I want to get into our guy, James Cook.
Yes.
So this is a guy that obviously he's been benched multiple times this season. Been on a naughty list with a couple fumbles. But yesterday he led the team in rushing for 10 carries, 58 yards, averaging 5.8 yards a carry. But then he also led the team in receiving yards with 5 for 83 and a touchdown catch. He's coming to his own. He's becoming a star. And I thought that this would be the part of the season where, because he had a lack of reps last year, because he had a lack of reps in college, that he may start hitting that wall and wearing down. He's not. He's actually hitting his stride and is making this Bills offense that much more dangerous. You love running backs. That's your topic. Go.
James Cook, and I predicted, what that was my prediction. Do you remember, JT?
1,200 yards.
1,200. Yep. I think he's going to hit 1,200. He's about 800 right now, right? He's a little short, 8.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he's going to hit. And he still hasn't had that really big game running the ball yet. I think he's going to have a 130 to 150-yard game. I don't know why. I got a hunch he's going to have one this year. But James Cook, oh, my goodness, man. That dude, he's balling. He's balling out of control right now. And what he's doing is he's reminding me a lot of Alvin Kamara, where you can throw him the ball. He's basically a receiver that's on the field at all times, right? He's just a natural pass catcher. It is very, very exciting to see him produce the way he is, because now you have to account for him in the passing game, right? Or before, like, if you see even Latavius Murray, like, you got to account for him a little bit now too. I mean, he's made a few big catches. So, but going back to Cook, it's been a long time since we had a productive running back like this. I love Devin Singletary. Don't get me wrong. He was one of my favorite players on the Bills. You know that. But James Cook brings something to this offense that Singletary didn't. And that's catching the ball and then just going, right? Singletary didn't have that second gear, that second or third gear that Cook has. I think Cook is going to be a huge. I think the running backs are going to be the key to this game coming up. I think and Cook is going to be a big factor in the Bills being successful this Sunday. And I really, really love what he's doing, both in the coming out the backfield and in between the tackles. He's drastic improvement, like from last year. He like a totally different back running between the tackles. He's falling forward. He's running with a low pass. He is protecting off.
You got a question for Guy D. Dot. How do you feel about the Bills' utilization of Cook? Do you think it's just right, or do you think they need to use him more?
I think it's just right for now. I think he's a year away from getting more, because I think he would start to break down. I don't know if physically he's built for that yet, because of the lack of, in my opinion, really like being the workhorse in college, and then to do that in the NFL, that's tough. So I think I like the way they're using him. Especially it'd be different if Murray wasn't giving us some production anti Johnson. Then my whole answer would be different. But I think how they're using him is smart, because especially if we want a Super Bowl run, you need him fresh.
Yeah, so I'm with you on that. I think they're using him right. I think we talked about before the season began. We didn't talk about rushing. We didn't talk about carries. We talked about touches. And I was looking, hopefully he get 20 touches a game. Yesterday there was 15. Last week against the Eagles, it was another 22. And if you go to the game before that, it was 20 versus the Jets. So he's right at that 20 mark, and I think that's what you're looking for.
Yep.
Once again, we're looking at for all-purpose yards, over 100 again yesterday, 100 the week before, or very, very close to it. He offers us something that we haven't had here, and that's just like home run ability, right? When we had Devin Singletary, we had Zach Moss. Every once in a while, they'll take something maybe 30, 40 yards to the crib, to the house, right?
Yep.
Cook has the ability to take it 70 yards or 50 to 60 yards to any given play, any given time, any missed tackle, any back cut, anything, he can go. We saw it with the pass yesterday. One bad move in his touchdown is 6. That's the difference between having that gear and not having that gear. In the NFL, that's touchdowns. Touchdowns compared to first downs. Okay?
Yep, absolutely.
I think that people were on Sean McDermott for pulling him out of the games when he fumbled the ball. But just like children, just like pets, whatever you may have in this world, right? When they're young, you have to train them. You have to teach them. They have to learn. So him fumbling those balls mid-season and having to go sit on the bench for maybe a quarter, maybe a couple of drives, it was the best thing that Sean McDermott could do for him. Yep. Because I think now you've seen that ball control is going to be a lot better. But not only it put a chip on his shoulder, he don't want to sit on that sideline again. He want to be in that game at all times. And you've seen an improvement in his pass catching abilities as far as his passing game contributions. You've seen even his pass protection has gotten better. He wants to be on that field all 3 downs. And I don't think he's going to get there till next year. But you're seeing that maturation process. And it's happening fairly quickly. James Cook from week 1 to James Cook from week 14 is a totally different football player.
Yeah.
And it makes this offense that's much more dangerous, because when you have a Houdini at your number 2 receiver, you have to have other people that can step up. And he's been doing that. So, like I said, I think that this may end up being Brandon Beane's biggest draft steal from coming to Buffalo. If this continues.
Outside of Milano?
Outside of Milano, this could end up being the biggest draft steal. Think about it, because he's something this offense has not had with Sean McDermott here. Like when Shady was here, Shady was already older. You know what I mean? He already lost a gear already.
Wait, was he here for the playoffs? We had Shady for the playoffs, dude.
He was here. He had a bad ankle.
Yeah.
Remember, he had a bad ankle that game against the Jaguars. So, like I said, man, this is something we haven't had. I'm loving it. I love to see it. It seems like the further we go along, Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane are understanding what type of players they have to put around Josh Allen.
And that's the most important thing right there. What you just said, JT, the right people around them, right? That's the type of back they want. Devin Singletary, Zach Moss were good football players, right? But they weren't the backs that they needed they were looking for this system.
I mean, shout out to my guy Cody Wells watching. I know he just had a newborn. I think it was like this week. I saw it on Facebook. Congratulations to you and your family too, Cody. Did catch that. Make sure I call you out on that one. Let's get to some of these comments here. Mike Nealon says Cook has juice and vision. He is so fun to watch. I really hope that they also keep working him in on the passing game.
If they don't, that'd be cool. He's dynamic.
Right. Cody says Cook seems more of a downhill runner. Singletary. Devin seems that he wanted to cut a lot more on his run. It was more side to side. I don't know. I thought by the end of his time here in Buffalo, Devin really got really downhill. And we never really got a chance to utilize the goal line because they never really chose to for whatever reason. But yeah, that's not
Devin is a 1,000-yard back in the league.
Yes. Think about it. We had 3,000-yard backs in this backfield at one time. Zach Moss, Devin Singletary, James Cook. Is crazy, right? Mike Nealon says they're working Murray and Johnson on 3rd and 1 a lot, 4th and 1s. This makes sense. Maybe we see playoff Lenny also. Hey, fingers crossed, man. But Ty Johnson is making it very, very hard to get Leonard Fournette in this football field. That's why he's not on there. It's Ty Johnson's playing well, and Ty Johnson plays special teams. Charles Madison says, I agree they're using Cook the right way right now, but I think they can use him more despite him not being a bell cow in college. Josh Jacobs was full-time in college either. He's balling right now, though. Remember, there's two different body types there. Josh Jacobs kind of came to NFL with more of a grown man, 215, 220-pound body type. Cook is still building, so I think he's going to probably need to add about another 5 to 7 pounds of muscle in the offseason, most likely. And he'll get there. When you got a lineage like that, like Dalvin Cook's older brother, you're going to get right. And you're going to get right in the right time period. It's a gradual. It's not a drastic change there. XCD answer that. Don't forget the two different body types, though. Johnson, stockier built. So answer my question for me. Appreciate it.
I think Josh Jacobs got on 220 something, 230 close. 220.
Yeah. My man Shane Courtney asked anywhere on Damian Harris return. I don't think we're going to see Damian Harris return. The last thing I heard about Damian Harris was he was mulling retirement. So with that, when you start hearing that, I don't think he's come back to he may not come back to a football field ever. And honestly,
we haven't had nothing of him practicing around at all.
No, so I think that's it for that Damian Harris as far as here in Buffalo. So let's see. Rob says, could we see Lenny take over Murray's spot? Now that's something that me and James have been talking about back and forth. Lately, it's going to be interesting. I would say I would do it for at least a game. I would do it for at least a game and see what you get out of it. I think Leonard Fournette is just as good as a pass blocker as Latavius Murray is as well, but he offers you more in the passing game. I don't think you switch Leonard Fournette up for Ty Johnson because Ty Johnson's role on this team is different. It would have to be Latavius Murray. I would say try it for a game. James?
For the Patriots game, I would say, you're going to do it on the Patriots game. I would not do it for the Chargers because Khalil Mack is leading the league in sacks, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
You don't want that. Yeah, you don't want somebody that hasn't been here since day one with blocking. So not that Leonard Fournette can't do it. We know he's a very good pass blocker, but yeah. Well,
I'm gonna move on to the next. Gonna move on to the next topic here, and that topic is. Hey, you're breaking up on me a little bit. Hold on. I'm gonna go to the next topic. We're gonna bring we'll talk about Von Miller really quick, man. I know this is something that was a big topic in Buffalo last week. We didn't know what the hell was gonna happen. Talk about cutting, releasing, suspensions, and we still don't know what's gonna happen. But obviously, there was a little bit of backlash about if the Bills made the right call by allowing the all-pro defensive lineman to play this week. And I will say this before we talk about anything jurisdiction or court related. Vaughn is getting back to Vaughn. I do want to throw out these stats, and this has nothing to do with what happened off the field. I'm just saying he had a total of 3 pressures yesterday, which is most for both games. Any game he's played this year, he had 2 QB hits, which double his total for the entire season, and he had a hurry. So it looks like he's getting back to that form a little bit. And you pointed out something yesterday. That's what you pointed out to me yesterday.
Yeah, he did not have it on.
Yeah, he did not have the knee brace on. So I will say this, okay? But off that topic, do you think the Bills made the right call by allowing Von Miller to play with the pending charges or wherewithal, what's going on? Do you think was the right call?
Yes. Yes, it was. And the reason why I'm going to say it was, if the NFL did their investigation, they looked into things and they felt comfortable enough to not put him on the list, then I think the Bills should have played him. Because the NFL, they do their due diligence. They do what they have to do to really research things, and they take it very, very serious. And if they didn't feel it was a need to suspend him or put him on the commissioner's list right now, I think the Bills should have played him. I think they made the right call.
Right. And Shane, I see your comments about Micah Hyde. I'm going to get to that. We're taking our question portion at the last time. I actually want to talk about that topic too, about Micah Hyde. So thank you for bringing that up. No, so at the end of the day, I'm with you. And the NFL, if they had an issue, this is not college. You don't have to self-impose sanctions so you don't get in trouble with NCAA down the line. Okay, the NFL will take care of it for you if there's a problem. They'll take care of it for you before you can take care of it. So if the NFL didn't do it, then at the end of the day, the Bills shouldn't have done it. And I'm pretty sure both parties are still investigating. This is not over. If something comes down the next couple of weeks or this week or anything like that, where they're saying, hey, Vaughn may have done this, then you won't see him suiting up for the rest of the season. And Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott won't have to do it because the NFL will do it for you. And that is called the commissioner's exempt list.
Yep.
It is what it is. So I think overall the Bills made the right call. And I think, too, one of the reasons I think they made the right call is this situation with this particular female has happened. This is the second time this has happened. Okay? I'm not saying she's right. I'm not saying she's telling the truth. I'm not saying she's lying. Not my job to do that. I'm just saying we've been here before with something similar. So the NFL may be looking at that too. And as D-Dot brings up, the Matt Razor situation as we saw today, all charges dropped. He actually wasn't even at the party. You have to let things play out in the court of law. I think that the NFL has also too learned their lesson about just throwing people in that commissioner's exempt list before doing their due diligence as well. So I think that
we can use that as an example for sure.
Yeah,
Matt Ariza. That's sad.
Actually, it is sad. It's a very sad situation. And you said it last year. You said, now if this come out this way, who's going to come back and apologize?
I think. I'm not going to get into that. That's a false police report. That's a problem.
Yeah. So, and I'm just gonna say this. I don't care. I'll be the one to say it. Anybody, man or female, who files a false police report, unknowingly false police report, should be thrown in jail. Period. I would say it. I don't care who you are, man or female. If you file a false police report on somebody and then you try to extort them for money, you should be thrown in jail. And when you get out of jail, they should give you a restitution amount so high that you don't have to think about it for the rest of your life. You have to pay for a good portion of the rest of your life. I'm going to say it just like that, and I'll leave it right there. It is what it is. So play Vaughn until the NFL steps in. If something happens, they'll step in. But I think that your brother here, Terrell, says, don't be surprised if Von Miller comes alive in the last couple games. We were just talking about this topic last week where it was like, listen, we don't see the twitchiness, the left or right. That's what makes Braun special. It's the left or right and his quickness and his suddenness. And when you brought up yesterday, hey, he ain't got a knee brace on this game. I don't think there's a surprise that he had the most pressures he had this season. I don't think it was a surprise that he was a little bit quicker, because you did say in the beginning of the season as well that when you're playing with that bulky knee brace and you're not used to playing with it, you can't play right.
Yeah, anybody that played with the Stone Cold Steve Austin knee brace, I mean, they lack mobility. You know what I mean? He about to hit somebody with the stunner, and they out there playing football. Nah, man. You know what I mean? You know, JT, you know it's that Stone Cold Steve Austin knee brace. You know, you can't play.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so once he shed that, he gonna be all right. Like Rel said, he gonna bounce back.
Right. Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, and that's the bottom line because James Mallory said so. We're moving on to the next topic. Oh, like that. You have to put that on a t-shirt. Sell it for free too.
Yo, JT is wild.
The final topic of the night, man. And this felt so good for me, man. I know you're similar to me, that you are a Sean McDermott guy. And to tell you the truth, I am a Sean McDermott guy as well. Like I said, I love Sean McDermott, and that doesn't have anything necessarily to do with if I think this guy will lead the Buffalo Bills to Super Bowl win or not. It has to do to what he's done for this franchise as a whole. And I do believe that he deserves a lot more respect than he's been getting lately. And I get it. I totally understand the frustrations of Bills Mafia of being stuck in this window that we feel that we're stuck in, right? That we can see the Super Bowl, we feel like we're almost there, and then we're just not there. Okay? I totally get it. I second your frustrations. But then again, I also look at my rear view and I look at we couldn't even look at that window before. It was just getting to the playoffs. Winning 9 games was a good season. Hey, let's go, guys. Next year we'll get 10 wins and make the playoffs. Okay. I think that he deserves a little bit more respect than he's been getting from Buffalo. And I also second Ed Oliver's comments about the cowards who leaked these stories and things like that. Like, listen, I don't consider myself Bills media technically. It's a little bit different for me for where I stand. Like I said, I'm probably more pro player when it comes to this business. But at the same time, I'm not a reporter. I'm not looking to report things that I know all the time and things that such. That's not my job. That's not what I do this for. But for somebody to release a report from 2019 in the middle of a season and the Bills are 6-6 and 4 years later, I just find that a little strange. Yeah. And this particular individual has been, let's call it, failed to get his credentials from the Buffalo Bills, and his lifeline that was necessarily in Buffalo last year, it's no longer playing for the Bills in another city, another team. I just feel like this is a very calculated thing. I feel like this is a person who sat on this. I don't think this is something that individual found out last week or 2 weeks ago, and I'm just going to release it. You sat on this, and you strategically released it. And to me, I feel like that's a very cowardly move. Actually, that's some bullshit. That's some straight bullshit. And if the Bills were 8-1 or 9-1, do you think he'd release that shit? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because it wouldn't have got so many clicks because no one would have cared. And that's why people don't get credentials, why players keep fans off limits or are standoffish a little bit, or they keep people away from the organization, or why Sean McDermott keeps everything so tight with the Bills locker room and information. This is why. It's stuff like this. It's people like that. Now, you got a million clicks from this, but what are you really going to get out of this? Because if I'm the Buffalo Bills or anybody in that locker room, I'll tell my agent, I'll tell my marketing person, I'll tell my family, you stay the hell away from that person. Don't talk to them, because that person's a snake. And when you cut the grass, that's when you find the snakes. And we got other people like that in Bills Mafia too. And as time go on, the grass going to get cut and we're going to see them. That was a bullshit move, and I'm glad that the Bills got this one for Sean McDermott, and I'm glad that he has the public support from his GM and Brandon Bean, and it looks like he has the public support from Terry Pagula because he should, because he's, like I said 2 weeks ago, he single-handedly changed the fortune of this franchise. We're getting pissed off because we're not getting to the Super Bowl when 20 years ago we couldn't even think about a Super Bowl. It was about just getting 10 wins and make it to the playoffs. That's what it was about. So if you're making, like I said 2 weeks ago, if you made 1 penny off the Buffalo Bills, if you got to the point where you're buying season tickets now, you want to go to every game, if you picked up a mic and a camera and now you want to do a podcast because it's cool, because it's not Thad Lewis throwing the ball anymore, then you need to thank Sean McDermott, because that's who it's because of, period. And he deserves more respect. And for that coward that released that report, you know what? I hope you got what you're looking for, and you need to run your ass out of Buffalo. Period.
I don't got too much to add to that, JT. Hey, JT talking that talk. You talking that talk, man. I think all I'm gonna really say is it was a huge win for McDermott, and I think a lot of people are starting to take what he's done and do for granted. You know, he's a special head coach. I think he's a great head coach. He's a great leader. Yeah, I mean, we have an identity. Buffalo Bills organization now has an identity. For years, we didn't really have an identity. They were searching for one for 17, 18 years. Even those years we did go to playoffs, some last few years, 98, 97, we didn't have an identity, right? We had a solid team. We made the playoffs, but the organization has an identity. And I love the direction that the organization is headed, period. What's understood don't need to be explained. I think you said it perfect, JT.
Yeah, and not for nothing, man. Like, listen, I know Marv Levy took this team to 4 Super Bowls, and that's who we always compare our coaches to. But let's be honest, man. I'm just gonna be real. Love Marv, met the dude. He ain't got no rings. Ain't got no rings. So the same things you say about Sean McDermott, about not getting the job done, not getting his team prepared for big moments, you can almost say the same thing about Marv Levy. Well, we only had a chance to win 1 Super Bowl out of the 4. And
we got smacked that one.
Right. And he coached in a time where people weren't pulling your assistants for head coaching jobs every year, where you didn't have free agency. Hell, the only free agent we almost ever lost was Bruce Smith in 1988 or 89 when he signed with the Broncos and we matched it the seventh day. We ain't have to worry about losing nobody. So I'm just saying, like, listen, man, if you're comparing to who's the greatest coach in Bills history, yeah, it's still gonna be Marv, but it's only gonna take Sean McDermott to win 1 Super Bowl to pass him. So at the end of the day, man, it was good. It was good seeing that video of him giving that game ball and seeing those tears in his eyes, and you could see he was emotional about it. So I'm all for it, man. But I actually had a good question here. I want to reach Sean Courtney's thing on here because I actually want to answer this for him if I can. The people I'd love to sit down and have a convo with Leslie Frazier and Brian Dable to hear their side. I feel like there's something up, though. I'd love to know why Chad Call, wideout coach, left the Bills and made a lateral move to Jacksonville. Wideout coach just seems odd. So what I know in the Chad Hall, you want to go in the Chad Hall?
You can go. I'll add mine too. Okay.
The reason Chad Hall left Buffalo was because he knew he wasn't the offensive coordinator in waiting. He was not next in line. He felt like he wasn't going to get what he needed under Brian Dable to get that OC job. That's his ultimate goal, is to get to an OC and hopefully possibly a head coach, most likely. So he made the lateral move to go to Jacksonville to pretty much understudy Doug Peterson. So, like I said, if you look at it now, was it the right move? Would you rather understudy Doug Peterson or understudy Ken Dorsey? It was the right move to understudy Peterson. So I think that was the proper lateral move. Now, he'd have moved to somewhere like Cleveland, then you'd be like, oh, whoa, what's happened here? Why would you do that? I'll let you go, Chad Hall, then I'll add the stuff about Brian Dable and Leslie Frazier as well.
No, perfect. You said it perfectly. He wasn't going to be the OC here for a while. And I think that was pretty clear, probably made pretty clear by McDermott. And honestly, we got an upgrade to the receiver coach, to be honest. So
Yeah.
it kind of worked out.
Yeah.
We definitely got to upgrade. Not that Chad Hall is very well respected, very good wide receiver coach, but yeah,
Henry's a
we
dog.
upgraded.
Henry's a dog.
Yeah,
Henry's a dog.
we upgraded. We upgraded.
So then, as far as Leslie Frazier, I think we know that the Bills were never going to let Leslie Frazier go. Sean McDermott was going to take pretty much the play calling or more input. I think Frazier told the truth when he said he contemplated taking the year back. You know, if he's going to have a reduced role, let me just take the year off. Let me figure this out and figure something out, do something different. I think that his time ran out in Buffalo, but Sean McDermott got what he needed from it, and Leslie Frazier almost got what he wanted from it. Frazier wants to be a head coach in this NFL. That's the whole point. He wants one more shot at being a head coach. Once he saw he wasn't going to get that, he went into those coaching programs too. Remember, he's out there networking right now. He's doing a lot of interviews and things like that. So I think what Leslie Frazier is doing is putting his name in these pots to become a head coach and networking with different people to see if he can get one last shot. He's up there in age, so we'll see what happens. Brian Dable, we know what happened with Brian Dable, okay? Sean McDermott wanted to run that football more. Brian Dable did not want to run the football more. Brian Dable didn't want to be told how to run his offense. Sean McDermott got tired of telling him how to run his offense. I think what we're seeing with Joe Brady right now in this Bills offense is exactly what Sean McDermott's vision was. Balanced, boring football, protect the football. Mind you, he's still a defensive-minded head coach. He hates turnovers. Protect the football, limit the chances, and just control the ball and control the football game. And sometimes play smash mouth football when you have to. We never did that under the Dable. So I think what you're seeing with Joe Brady now is exactly what Sean McDermott wanted. And guess what? He's right. He's right. Brian Dable offense don't look too tight over there in New York right now. And it hasn't since he got there. They won some games, but look, just like the Bills, when the Bills won 10-6 and we played in Houston the playoff year, it wasn't necessarily great offense. It was just good enough to win. So, anything to add on Frazier, Dabs?
Yeah, Frazier. I mean, you said it perfectly. Frazier, he wanted a shot to be that head coach. I mean, at the end of the day, McDermott want things ran the way he want them ran, and I can't disagree with him. When you're the head coach, it's your way, right? It's the way you envision that team being. That's why you're the head coach. So, the Dable thing, I mean, he's proven right. When this team runs the ball, this team wins. This team is successful when it runs the ball a little more and efficiently. So, I mean, who can really argue with what McDermott wants?
Right. So I'm going to get to this part of the show where we're going to get into actually, you know what? Actually, I want to say one more thing about Sean McDermott. I will say this, and this is a guy, I've met Sean McDermott on multiple occasions now. Actually been blessed to have a few small conversations with him. And you could tell that he's generally a person who takes interest in what other people do and who other humans are. Now, I know some people are saying that, he may be narcissistic, blah, blah, this control freak. As you said, James, before, if you're a head coach, you're not a control freak, then you're probably not a successful one. You better be somewhat of one. But what I will say is about Sean McDermott is you could tell he's an individual that listens. And the things that people are calling for him to do, this may be the time where some of the things he may get to him, and he may sit back and say, you know what? Damn. That may be right. This person may be on to something, because I think he's a very self-aware human being. And with all this being said, I think he's going to bring this team closer. And if this team wins this Dallas game, watch out. Oh, by the way, Justin Herbert, I'm not wishing injury on anybody. Justin Herbert just announced this afternoon out for season. So that's another game the Bills got coming up. Watch out. So, but moving forward, I want to get to some of these. You got anything to add before we move on from that? Are you good?
Nope. I think you said it perfectly.
All right. I want to get on to some of these questions before we get off air. Let me see if I can scroll back up and see if I missed anything. I know my man Cody Wells had a good one up there earlier. We answered Ralph's spot about Lenny taking over Murray's spot. I do think that at some point we should try that and see, because Murray is 33 years old. Let's not forget.
You see it. His knee drive is
It's slowing down a little bit.
It's some fatigue there, JT.
Yeah. And people forget, it's not just usage in games; it's wear and tear of practice every day too. It's long days. Cody says, "We'd love to hear James' perspective on the locker room aspect. Is it that Gabe's leadership qualities got Gabe that C on his chest?" Very good question, especially with as Lou has been producing and struggling. To me, it's always seemed there was a good mix of production and leadership that got in the C. That's a good question.
I'm gonna say no. In regards to the time to play and to being the captain, right? You don't have to be. There's backup quarterbacks who are captains, right? There's special teams guys who aren't really studs who are captains, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think nobody's ever questioned his work ethic. Nobody's ever questioned his effort on the field. That has always been top notch, in my opinion. We've never said that. We're just talking about production. We'd like to see him produce more. So I think that's what got him to C on his chest. I don't think they tie it to production. I think they tie it to the way the man probably worked his ass off in the offseason, the way he always gives effort and what he brings to the table. I don't think you tie those together. Good teams, usually your hardest workers are your best players, right? That's why the Steelers are having problems right now. Pickens probably the most talented. Pickens and Deontay Johnson are two more talented players on the team. Their attitudes suck. They're not leaders. It's a reason why their best players, if their best players aren't leaders, they're probably not going to be a good football team. People look at the Steelers like, well, what's happening? That's what's happening. Poor leadership at the top in regards to your best players leading the way and working hard. Pickens, they talking about effort. The man don't even come off the ball sometimes. That's a problem.
Yeah.
So I think the answer to that question is, I think it's more leadership driven from the peers, and that's why he was voted captain.
Well, I think that I agree with everything that you said. I think there's one more tidbit in there. I think with him going to a contract year, in case he blew this season out the water, it may have been a little bit of gamesmanship there, jockeying to get a little bit of hometown discount. At this point in time, you don't have to worry about that discount because he got to get it anyway if he chooses to come back. Just saying. But, as much as he said, now you see me, now you don't in the field, his money right now is saying, now you see me, now you don't. Hey,
yeah.
It's gonna be,
unless they're big receiver that they're afraid to.
Yeah, unless they're gonna be some full team out there, but I don't see it. Bernie
Madoff. It's a lot of free agent receivers, man. I don't know if he's gonna get paid.
I'll tell you what, I'm with you. He's headed to a 1-year, $9 million deal, like Bernie Madoff. You see him with your money, now you don't. There it is. Now it's gone. Wrong year to play around with Bernie. Wrong year to play around with Bernie. But then we call the Gabe Davis weekend at Bernie's. But in this season, Sean Courtney says, "Do y'all see a big difference between Frazier's and McDermott's defense and week-to-week look of it?" Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah,
way more aggressive.
You know what I see? I see just a difference in the aggressiveness of the players.
Yeah.
Just how they're. I mean, outside just the schemes, how they're attacking.
Yeah, agreed. I'm a Leslie Frazier fan. I am, but it's a difference. McDermott got them boys balling.
Yeah. Cody says, "Do you think we roll the same OC into next season, or they still have to ear open to other people for this job?" These last couple of games going to determine it. I think that I would say that I think Joe Brady is on the verge of summing up this job, especially if they let him hire the guy from UB the other day. I think he 90% has it.
Yeah.
What you got, Mal?
Yeah, I'm with you. Finish out the season strong. You stay with him.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you got to go make sure Josh is comfortable. Josh is comfortable with him, and he is producing. In regards to Joe Brady, you keep him.
Yeah. Any chance that we resign Gabe hot and cold? I know, James, you're on the bandwagon of what? A cheap deal?
I wouldn't mind him being back. Because I don't think he's a bad player. It's just frustrating. But I think I got a funny hunch in my stomach he's going to come back on a very cheap deal. I don't know why the funny feeling is going to happen.
Well, he may go out that market and find that the fine thing that Jordan Poyer found out there was nothing. It's just difference that Jordan Poyer was 32 years old, 33 years old going in that market. It's a big difference.
This is a hot receiver market.
Yeah.
It's like 10 names that's ahead of him.
I don't think he's gonna be back. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think he's gonna be back. I think that the Bills are not gonna have time to be able to allocate salary cap money to disappearing act. But I mean, if you do bring him back, you still have to draft a receiver in the first round. You have to take
100. A receiver is number one, no matter if you bring him back or not. That's still number one. And also, don't forget, the Bills aren't going to let him go without offering him a contract. They're going to offer him a contract. They're not just going to say go test it. They do that with all their guys. They're going to offer him a contract. Period. He's going to get offered a contract
because you want to keep those relationships good with the agents. So you don't want to just let them just walk out the door for nothing. Right now, if you were Brandon Beane and you're going to offer Gabe Davis a contract right now today, what would you offer him?
3 years, $20 million. That's tops.
How much guaranteed?
11 to 12.
Okay. All right. You're a lot more generous than me. It's Christmas time. Okay, it's Christmas time. But listen, man, I really don't even got a contract for him, but I'm just gonna play devil's advocate here because I be giving him coal in his bag right now from Sam. That's where he began for me. But if I had to offer a deal, it would be a 1 year. Well, actually, it had to be 2 years because we're salary cap strapped. So you got that part right. You have to do multi-years. I do 2 years, maybe $18 million with like $8 million guaranteed, and that's all you getting. And I'm still looking to draft like.
I would go 3 years, almost $7 million average, and that third year would be heavily protected in regards to no guarantees. It'd be a bigger cap number.
But see, that's my thing. I don't even want the second year. I don't want any guaranteed money left in that thing. I don't want to have to cut this dude, trade this dude in half. I don't even want to have just $1 million of dead cap. I want no dead cap from this dude. Like I said, 3 games this season of goose eggs. And an offense with a quarterback that throws the ball 40 times a game at times. 40 attempts.
Yeah.
And 3 goose eggs and 2 games with 1 reception. No. That's what? 14 games this season. We played 13 games this season now, right? And you're talking
but that number you giving him, that $9 million, you better off going to get somebody else for that. The names that's on the free agent list for 2024, you better off going to pay somebody else that. Because D-Hop they're going to cut D-Hop. You're going to get D-Hop for that.
I don't think they're going to cut D-Hop.
I think so.
Because there's going to be no reason to, because you're not going to be re-signing Henry or Tannehill.
Yeah, that's when you go youth movement.
Yeah, but it's no reason. But there's no reason to cut him though, because if you're looking at his connection with Levis now, you're going to bring him back. You're just going to bring another guy in with him and Burks, and you'll make that decision next trade deadline. If you're struggling, then you'll move him. You know what I'm saying? But you're not going to cut him out.
I hear you, but at the same time, would you want D-Hop around that situation? That's where multiple things are going at.
So my thing, like I said, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. But as far as
Mike Evans
goes, who?
Mike Evans is great.
If we can find the money somewhere, that'd be great. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm
gonna pull this up while you talking the free agent list.
Oh, it's heavy. It's heavy.
I just want to go over this for everybody, so everybody knows the why his market is going to be dry, and why he may get 5 to 7 million.
My man John Roberts says Von's starting to get better. Also, absolutely, John. I absolutely 100%. He's definitely turning a corner. While you're looking at that, guy D Dot says new special teams coach next year. Absolutely, no more smiling for Smiley in Buffalo. He got to go. This is probably out of all the coaches we lost and we switched out. This special teams was absolutely the worst coach switch I've seen. And this may be the worst special teams coach I've seen in Buffalo since Ronnie Jones. You guys remember?
Yeah, I got a name for him. All right, so we're going to Paul Boudreaux. Boudreaux. Look what he did when he was with the Rams. Not that he was my coach, but look what he did when he was with the Rams. And then now he's been to 4, 5, 6, 5 Grey Cups in a row in the CFL. Every year got the top special teams. I think that needs to be considered. His father was a 30-plus year veteran NFL coach, one of the best offensive line coaches in NFL history, Paul Boudreaux. So I'm serious about that. I think he will come here and change it like immediately. But I'm gonna just throw some wide receiver names out there without even mentioning Gabe Davis.
Yeah.
All right. So we got T. Higgins, Michael Pittman, Mike Evans, Hollywood Brown, Calvin Ridley, Darnell Mooney, Tyler Boyd, Michael Thomas, DJ Chark, Noah Brown, and Curtis Samuel, and KJ Osborne. We mentioned all those guys before we mentioned Gabe Davis.
Yeah.
He's not $9 million a year. Unless he turns it up, I don't see him getting $9 million a year.
No. And actually, D-Dot says throwback on Ronnie Jones. The reason I brought up Ronnie Jones' name, because even through all the bad years, the Bills special teams on the guys like Bobby April was always pretty good. Ronnie Jones was the worst special teams coordinator I think we ever had. And if I remember distinctly, Chris Watson was our punt returner, and he was the worst punt returner probably in the history of the NFL that I saw. Chris Watson. When we traded from the Broncos. Remember Chris Watson? Terrible. So, Rob Chanel says Higgins or Ridley. So what I think is going to happen with Higgins, to be honest with you, I think Higgins is going to go back to the Bengals, and Tyler Boyd's going to be the one that's going to be out. And if they'll tag him if they have to. And Calvin Ridley is interesting because he's been up and down with the Jags this season, and he may search for a new home. He'd be a guy that I definitely throw a bag at if we could. But I've actually.
I don't think they'll let him go.
I don't think so either. I think he's going to go back. Tyler Boyd is the name that I'm circling. That's the name that I'm circling is Tyler Boyd. But I'm circling Tyler Boyd. I
think remember I said this. They'll find the money to pay. If the Bills go, they'll find the money to pay Mike Evans because he's everything he's everything they need. You can get him on a 2-year cheap deal, not cheap deal. You get him on a 2-year deal. He's everything that the Bills are missing right now.
I mean, if you can get it, but I mean, he's talking to Tampa about being the highest paid in the league.
Yeah. I mean, you can make that work. If you're the Bills, you can make that work with a 2-year deal. I mean, that's something you will have to consider.
Well, the reason I'm trying not to spend big on receiver because I feel we have to spend at the safety position, and that goes back up to what someone had. I don't think they are.
I don't think they are. I think they're going to draft somebody high. They're going to bring in a value free agent pick, not somebody just dirt cheap. I think they'll go that route. I don't think they're going to spend big on safety.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we have to spend big, but I mean, right now we're looking at $29 million deficit going into next offseason. Now, obviously, there's some contracts that we can restructure, and obviously, with the contracts we come in, we can structure. We know that Brandon Beane is the master of void years in contracts. But I would say I would go at Tyler Boyd because he could play boundary and slot, and I would draft a rookie in the first round. I do both.
Yeah, that's mandatory. You got to draft a rookie first round. No matter what you do, you have to draft one in the first round.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm with Mike. Cody Wells says there's a deep first wide receiver in the class first round pick. Me and James are both second to that. Yeah, we need one in the first round. And Mike says we need a big receiver who can stretch the field. I keep calling the name Keon Coleman. You got the kid Odunze from Washington, and I forgot you got the other guy from Oregon too. That's pretty solid. But I think you need a bigger guy that's like 6'2", 6'3", but unlike Gabe, can actually go up and attack the football at a high point. We're not looking at a 6'3" guy or 6'2" guy that plays like a 5'8" receiver running streaks. Okay. So I would go that route. Tyler Boyd's name I'm circling. Safeties I'm looking at already afraid to see Xavier McKinney, Jabril Peppers. We've been on that for a couple of years now. I know you've been on.
I think he's gonna get paid. I think the Patriots are gonna pay him.
Well, we know what's gonna happen now because Bill Belichick. They already said they're parting ways at the end of the year. That's a Bill Belichick guy. We don't even know if he's even going to be there at this point now. You know. Actually, Rob brought up a good point, and I know something that you were talking about the other week that we wanted to bring up. Has McDermott lost faith in Bass aside 45 yards?
He may have.
Yeah.
I think. Don't be surprised if they bring a kicker and a punter in. They're gonna bring multiple punters in. Don't be surprised they bring something for competition. It's gonna happen. Yeah. They're bringing competition from at the end of the year.
Yeah, he got it together. He'll be fine. Our resident Titans fan that joins every week, my guy Jeff Gonzalez says, "Welcome, Titan. Help the Bills stay in the East race. We handled the Dolphins for you. Now they remember forever the night they played the Titans." What's up, hey man? Appreciate it. Hey, they did us a favor. Appreciate it. Thank you. Rest in peace to Titan great Frank Wycheck too. Actually passed away.
Yeah, that's sad. Yeah,
home at 52. So I know a lot of people remember him from the home run throwback pass in Buffalo as a Titan that threw the ball. But he was actually so much more than that as a football player, as a parent. So obviously we love all football players. So our prayers go out to his family and Titans Nation too, as well as they lost a great there yesterday. D Dot says, what round you thinking for a safety, second or third? If I had my choice, I mean, it'd be, I don't think this is a very strong safety draft. I think you can get one in the second round, but definitely receiver first. Unless you're taking Kitchens from Miami. That's my favorite safety on the board is Kitchens. So that'd have to be a first round pick.
I think you go receiver first round. I think you go line, offensive line, or line third round, go safety.
Yeah. So other than that, James, I mean, it's pretty much it. I'm trying to see if I missed anything. I think we hit mostly all the questions. There was a question about Hyde. I'm going to try to find it. But what do you think about the safety position after this season, Micah Hyde specifically? Because he has been injured multiple times this year. Obviously, we know he's battling a stinger. Main question, too, when you're playing, have you ever had a stinger? How long does that last for?
Yeah. Mine wasn't nothing like that, thank God. So, I mean, it depends on what he got. I mean, honestly, you said it, JT. I think he's going to retire.
Yeah. I mean, neck injury is nothing to play with, and neck injury is nothing to play with, and he keeps having them. And obviously, Mike has I don't know if he had the second child. The second child's on the way. Obviously, I keep saying Mike has a face for TV, so I think that you're really going to start thinking long term and family there. So I would say he's going to retire after this season. I don't think he's going to want to switch teams anyway. Now, Jordan Poyer probably has a little bit more playing to do, but neck injuries are dangerous. I got Pat Freeman, the Mighty Obas in the building. He says retire. Appreciate you for joining tonight, Pat. And Sean. Sorry, Sean. Sean says, what about the first round center? Yeah, I would say Mitch Morse is definitely going into this year, but I think that I don't know how they like about Ryan Bates. I think Ryan Bates should have been the starting center this season.
Yeah, I think Bates is that guy. I think he's that guy. They probably got penciled in there.
Yeah. So, but my guy Mike Nealon says the Titans comeback was a great early Xmas present. Yes, it was. It was. Gave them a big bag of coal in Miami and an L to hold with it. So, on that, James, I mean, you got anything left tonight, or you got any final thoughts before we get off this air?
Nope. Stay positive, Bills Mafia. I told, huh?
Yeah,
I'm gonna get that out.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that out. So stay positive, Bills Mafia. I told y'all, relax. Y'all chirping, but relax. It's a long season. So I think these guys got it. Let's be out there. Let's come out there and represent. Let's hold it down. This Sunday, everybody's going to the game. Be safe. Cheer loud. Bring that energy, but best believe the players can feel that energy. But my bold prediction, Stephon Diggs, over 100 yards, and we're going to have a 100-yard rusher.
But will we have the W?
I told you a long time ago, I think the Bills are going to beat these dudes. That's my opinion. I think we're going to beat them by 8 to 10 points. I think we'll be all right. I think we'll be good. That's my prediction. I told you a little while ago, I thought the Bills, I wasn't too concerned about this game. If we do, it's not the end of the world. We do lose. But I think we'll be okay. But I do have a bold prediction. Stephon Diggs, 100 yards, and we're going to have a 100-yard rusher.
They'll snap out of it. Yeah, I think that the Bills are going to win this game for multiple reasons. And I think that, their backs against the wall. I still think that this is I said a couple weeks ago that you had to win one of the two games versus the Eagles and Cowboys. One of those games had to be won. You blew the Eagles once, so I still think now this is a must-win. So I would say this. You got to win this game. I think Dallas is coming off a big upset against the Eagles. They absolutely demolished them. You're going to road to Buffalo. It's not necessarily a rivalry game. I think the Bills are going to be more up for that game. I think the Bills are going to actually end up winning this game with the offense clicking. And once again, Dallas has limited film on Joe Brady's offense. There's still not a full season of film to watch tendencies, strategize against what they're doing because, hell, we don't even know what they're going to do from week to week at this point yet. And it's not enough.
Yeah.
So I think Buffalo ends up winning this game. They go to 8-6. And then when you look at this remaining schedule and we talk about the division, after this game, we have the Chargers that are going to be without Justin Herbert for the rest of the season. Then you have New England and you got Miami. Okay. Now, depending on what Miami is doing, that final game, if Miami has the division sold up and they go ahead and beat the Ravens and Cowboys and all those good things, then they're not going to play their starters. Or, plot twist, Miami starts to falter. You lose against the Cowboys or Ravens, one of the two games, or you lose both, and now you're playing to beat the Bills for the division. That's an issue, and that's a big issue for Miami. And honestly, to be honest with you, James, fighting for that division spot, maybe that's a guaranteed playoff spot. Someone who don't win this division may not be in the way that thing is log jam right now.
Yeah.
So you may be fighting for the division and your playoff lives all in the same game.
Yeah.
That's tough. So, bold prediction, if I got one. Bold prediction is I think that the Bills are going to have at least 5 sacks versus Dak Prescott this week. I think Sean McDermott is going to dial it up. I think that this whole thing that's happened with this, I'm not even going to say the guy's name. I'm not giving no credit. With the report that came out about the 9/11, all that stuff like that, man, I think that just lit a fire under this team and the desire like no other. They riding with their coach. They're going to do this for their coach. And quite honestly, they win this Dallas game, watch out. Like you've been saying, run the table. They win this Dallas game, it's probably going to happen. Get ready. So, other than that, bold prediction, Bills 5 sacks versus Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. And I think that the Bills end up winning this football game. So, other than that, guys, thank you for tuning in. As always, Rob, good luck you in Dallas. You throw the party for all the Cowboys fans. Listen, don't get them no buffalo wings. Give them all dry Red wings. No sauce. No sauce this week, man. No sauce. Come on. All right. But as always, thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully we answered all you guys' questions. And hopefully we are back next week with another W, 8-6, hopefully, and keep going. Other than that, it's nothing personal, just Buffalo. I'm your host, JTM. Got my co-host in the building with me, Collegiate Hall of Fame running back, James Mallory, CCSU alumni, and former NFL running back. Other than that, we out, guys. Peace.